Chris Chibnall's run on Doctor Who thus far has been rocky, and that's putting it lightly. Since he took over the show in 2018, his additions to the lore have been met with some extremely mixed responses. Series 12, though overall better than Series 11, ended with a revelation so huge it sent cracks through time and space. And when I say time and space, I mean the time between 1963 and now. With a Christmas special on the way and Series 13 arriving soon after, we're probably not that far away from finding out what the hell happened at the end of Series 12. Whilst the door to Chris Chibnall's office is firmly locked and the chances of any story beats leaking are slim to none, it doesn't mean we can't scream at the heavens and demand what we want to see in our next outing in the TARDIS. My name is Rich, welcome to Who Culture, and these are 8 fixes for Doctor Who Series 13. Number 8, Get Off Earth. A recurring theme throughout the entirety of Series 12 bar the 2-part finale is the fact the entire bloody series was set on Earth, even if we didn't realise it at first. Those series in the past have been criticised for the lack of alien worlds. I mean, 2005 Series 1 was criticised for exactly that, though we did get quite a few space station episodes. Series 12 remained staunchly terra firma. There are more than enough quarries in the UK that can represent alien planets. It's kind of a thing the show's been using for years, so why not use them? Even just a base under siege story set on an alien planet is just a set on a soundstage and they just say, hey, we're on Mars by the way. Why did it seem so hard to come up with ideas to explore more cultures, more places, and more creatures? We just stayed on Earth. Why? Number 7, give Yaz the spotlight. With Bradley Walsh and Tosin Cole leaving the show after Revolution of the Daleks, as far as we know, it's just going to be Mandip Gill's Yaz continuing with the Doctor into Series 13. And this is actually potentially a good thing for her. Across her 2 series so far, Yaz hasn't had a huge amount of screen time for herself. The first time there was that glimmer of hope we'd find out more about her, the episode focused more on her ancestors and her grandma, though in Series 12's Can You Hear Me, we did get a bit more to her. But otherwise, she would just sit there and gawp at the Doctor. As said, Can You Hear Me in Series 12 introduced a side to Yaz we hadn't seen before, involving a mental health spiral and her wanting to run away, but eventually being talked down from it by a police officer, and assumedly, that's why she became one. Now, as much as it would be sad to see Ryan and Graham leave the TARDIS, giving Yaz more time to grow, giving us more time to resonate and get to know the character, could be really good for her. With fewer companions to juggle in the TARDIS, we might get more of a chance to begin to really love Yaz. Number 6, don't introduce any new companions. To make that previous point easier, don't overcrowd the TARDIS. Juggling 3 companions was something that after 2 series, the show still didn't know how to do. So don't just decide to add more companions on for the sheer hell of it. Usually when 3 people, that's not including the Doctor, are in the TARDIS, usually 2 of those are an actual companion and the third is maybe someone present for a 2-parter or just a single story, but not through an entire series. I've said this a million times on Ups and Downs, if we're expected to care for these protagonists but not get any time to get to know them, why should we care? Having less companions, even just 1 companion, gives them time to breathe, gives us time to build their stories, and gives us time to get to know them properly and care for them. If we're jumping between 3 different companions, between their own little plots, between different episodes, it just makes the whole thing a mess and makes it hard to actually give a crap. As bad as it sounds, when Ryan and Graham leave the show at Christmas, are we really gonna care? Are we gonna feel the same way we felt when Rose got trapped in a parallel world, when Donna had her mind wiped, when Amy and Rory died? Depends how they play it out, but don't feel that connection with them yet. Number 5, bring Captain Jack back properly. One huge surprise of Series 12 was seeing John Barrowman's wonderful Captain Jack Harkness show up again on the show for the first time in 10 years. However, this dashing time agent only had a minor cameo in Fugitive of the Judoon and has still not been seen since. Musings are rife that Jack is going to appear in Revolution of the Daleks, supposedly as the Doctor's cellmate in that prison thing wherever the hell she is. Seeing Jack fight the Daleks again is going to be an absolute treat because most of the time we've seen him in Doctor Who, he's been fighting Daleks, so he's going to be right at home. But it would also be great to see him again in Series 13, maybe just for a 2-parter or an episode, or an episode and then the 2-part finale. I don't want him there full time. Again, give the spotlight to Yaz, but just give me more Jack. I'm itching for him. Number 4, tone down the explicitly political plots. Since the casting of Jodie Whittaker, which was 3 years ago, get over it, Doctor Who is seen as an overtly political TV show. In the case of Jodie Whittaker's casting specifically, that's complete rubbish, but in the case of the stories, maybe not so much. Orphan 55 is not only arguably the worst episode of Doctor Who ever, its climate change subplot was so explicitly hammered home it was borderline unbearable. The pollution subplot of Praxeus, though it was better woven into the story, was still quite loud, and the closest we've had to having a genuine political commentary that's been delicately woven through the story was in Can You Hear Me, the mental health subplot being something really, really important, especially in this day and age, but it fell at the final hurdle. Doctor Who and politics aren't anything new. It's not just since Jodie Whittaker was cast that it's become a political PCSJW show. Genuinely, political commentary has been present through the show's entire run. Go back to the classic era, especially Tom Baker's era, go and look at that, then tell me it wasn't political then as well. But these political messages taking up so much of the sort of volume of the episode, it makes for really unenjoyable viewing. If you can weave a political point into a plot, or even just as a passing comment relevant to what's going on, fine, but don't build your entire thing on a big message. This isn't Sesame Street. As said, it can be done well. Can You Hear Me is a prime example of that, but you don't need to slap a post-it to the Doctor's forehead with the message written on it. It makes for really crap writing and crap viewing. Number 3, explain who the fugitive Doctor is. Apart from the revelation about the Doctor's origin at the end of the series, which we will, of course, get to, another big surprise was Jo Martin's fugitive Doctor that appeared in Fugitive of the Judoon. This was a previously unknown incarnation of the Doctor that was on the run from Gallifrey. Jodie Whittaker's Doctor 13 didn't know who she was, and the fugitive Doctor didn't know who Jodie was, so we really don't know where this fugitive comes in the timeline of the Doctors. Even when the series came to a close and the fugitive Doctor appeared again at the end of the series, we still don't know who she is, where she's from, and why she even exists. Since the Timeless Child revelation in The Timeless Children, we know there are a plethora of Doctors that have existed aside from the 13/14 we already know. So before the writers get too excited with adding in a million more Doctors to choose from, tell us who this is. 100%, no wiggle room, no bullshit. Tell us who this is, where she comes from, and then move on to the next one. Okay? Number 2, further explore the Timeless Child revelation. The end of Series 12 raised far more questions than it answered, and to be honest, this didn't come across as an interesting route to take the character. It came across as more of a way of Chris Chibnall implanting his damn name into every Whovian's heads. It doesn't matter that the lawn is all chewed up because Chris has managed to burn his bloody name into the front garden. So how old is the Doctor? How many incarnations have there been? Why did they run from Gallifrey as the fugitive? What is the division? These are just a minute number of questions that have been raised, and we want answers to all of them. This is not something we want to be drip-fed over the next 5-10 years of the show. We want answers to all of this now. If you're gonna throw us into the deep end like this, Chris, you need to have the answers ready for us, because otherwise we're gonna riot. Here is hoping there's actually some concrete base to this whole revelation, rather than just Chris making a name for himself by throwing a big rock into a pond and the ripples don't know where the f to go. Alternatively, number 1, reveal that the Timeless Child origin was a lie. The biggest backtrack in television history. Take a law-breaking revelation and pretend it never happened. The Master's mouth was where all this came from, so there's a very good chance he could be lying, and that's absolutely a route they could take. Having bitten off more than he can chew is honestly the lightest way to put it about Chris and this revelation. I am genuinely fascinated to know there's actually a logical explanation or answer to all of these questions we have raised, but I'm not convinced that behind closed doors in the writer's room, they have a bloody clue. So the simple solution? Ignore it. Go back to gallivanting about the universe without a care in the world, without this big burden on your back. Every episode that releases after The Timeless Child will be scrutinized for the moments we don't know more about what in the f*** just happened. That is unless you just put this whole thing to bed. Either you somehow answer all the questions we have, or you retcon, and you retcon hard. This is something that's going to plague the show. Showrunners who pick up this series, people who want to write for it, people who want to produce it. This is going to loom over them like a big Chris Chibnall-shaped cloud above them, unless they clear up this. I know that during Ups and Downs I was a little less sort of aggy about this whole thing, but now I've had more time to think about where this could really go, the less I'm convinced any of this is going to work. And trust me, I would love to be proved wrong. I want you to come back to this video one day and look at me and go, ha, he was getting really pissed off for no reason because look, everything's fine. I want that to be a thing. Chris, you done goofed, boy. Oh, I know how Jules feels after these things suck. I am fizzing. So that is my list. Are there any things you want to see fixed, tweaked, removed, added, whatever, to Series 13, please let me know down in the comment section below. If you're not subscribed to Who Culture here on YouTube already, please do. We've got tons of Doctor Who content in the way, including the Escaping Kasterborous podcast, which is a rewatch podcast I record with my partner. We're going through everything from Doctor Who 2005 to now. We have just released episode 4, Aliens of London. So if you want to do a rewatch of Doctor Who or watch the whole thing brand new, if you've never seen Doctor Who before, why are you at the end of this video? But hi, thanks for watching anyway. Come check it out. I have been Rich. You can follow me on Twitter at PickupChangeToe and even on Twitch at RichIsLive. I stream 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Come along and say hi if you fancy it. Thank you so much for watching me ramble away on this video. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.